Welcome to Reality with Kiki. I'm your host, Kiki, and on this channel, we discuss reality TV, celebrity gossip, and viral topics. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like our content. You can also follow us on our Facebook page. A link will be in the description box below, and we also have it linked in our bio. All right, so Black Ink Chicago. So we start this episode off at Second City Inc. and Drea is back collecting her things. She gets upset and is crying. Heaven is coming to talk to her. Princess talks to her because she's just like, I gave up a lot to come here. She promised me all of these things. She said it was going to be a black owned, woman empowered shop, and that's what it's not turning out to be. So they sit down on the couch and they're having a conversation. And Drea is just like, to Prince, like, you didn't say anything. Like, you didn't defend me. You didn't back me up. No, nothing. Because he was like, oh, because she was like, I'm not about to pay $1,500 in booth rent. And Prince is like, but it's her shop, Dre. And she's like, no. He's like, I don't think that's fair either. And she's like, so why didn't you say something? Why didn't you speak up? And so Dre's like, I've been nothing but a friend to everybody in here. And Prince admits that he should have said something. He should have had her back. And Drea goes on to say how, like, being a darker skinned woman, there's a lot of colorism that she faces and she does not feel protected. Nobody feels the need. So NYMAX has a little mixer before the convention and everybody showing up. Of course, their crew, of course, Second City Inc. Is supposed to be to bring together black and brown tattoo artists, whatever have you. Charmaine walks in and she's just like excited to be in there. I'm like, you just want to be back in there. And I'm like, why are you always looking so dusty and disheveled? Like at all times. So Charmaine is like smiling at everybody's faces. She's talking to Ryan. They talking about the convention tomorrow. They're asking her if she has everything together, all the things set up. And Ryan's like, do you have somebody to work the door? Charmaine's like, oh, I have some volunteers. And he's like confused. What are you talking about, volunteers? Where's your admin? She's like, I'm the admin. I'm doing everything and blah, 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 blah. And this is what happened. Now, I don't like how she relayed the story because it was one-sided, but also like let's really bring the facts. So as far as Drea, she's like, we got into it, but I'm still going to allow her to guest at booth at the convention because we did the paperwork together and she paid for her spot. And it's just like, she's like, oh, I'm going to be a leader and I'm not going to be petty and I'm going to allow her to still come. You don't have a choice. And I'm going to tell you why. Y'all filled out that paperwork. That's a contract. So if you were not to let her have space and she paid, you would have to pay her back. She will be able to sue you. That's why you are saying you're allowing her to be there. And then as far as Kitty, you talking about so she was supposed to be an admin and she's supposed to be a brand manager and she ain't managed nothing. How was she supposed to? There was nothing to manage. She had no leeway. You couldn't even really tell her job description. Like, let's really be real. So for you to try to sit there and throw them under the bus like that, that's just whack. Like, Charmaine, you so lame. I can't even deal. All right, so they get to the convention and they're setting up. Drea comes, but she doesn't have her pass, so she can't get to the back. So Charmaine sends Prince up there with the pass, and Dre's like, where's my other pass? Like, I paid for half of the booth. I'm supposed to have 2 passes. So one of the organizers of the convention is like, actually, you're supposed to have 3. So she's like, okay, so 3. Where are my other 2 passes? So they go back there or whatever, and Charmaine is like, oh, you and Prince will be over there. And Dre is like, no, I paid for my own booth and I have two people who are coming. Where are my passes? Prince is gonna have to find somewhere else to go. So Prince is like, I'm out of a booth. And at first I kind of felt bad for him. But then I was like, no, because you didn't have her back. Had you had her back, then maybe y'all could have worked something out. But anyway, so Charmaine is like, oh, you trying to come here now? You want to switch stuff up or whatever? Blah blah blah. I'm not gonna be doing this ghetto fabulous thing. And I'm like, what about her is ghetto right now? What is she doing that's ghetto? I don't like those undertones. And so then Nick want to try to get involved because Drea's asking for her pass. She's like, okay, so where's my other two passes? And he like, oh, money ain't a thing. She said, I didn't say anything about money being a thing. He told me something. It might be for you. No, it might be for you because Charmaine is sitting over there with an old matted wig on her head, still looking dusty, still looking disheveled. You representing your business, so please don't do that. Don't do that to her. So Charmaine is like, oh, I'm glad this is our last interaction. She said, and me too. So Ryan shows up and he stops by Charmaine's booth first to see you know, what's going on if she set it up because this is her first convention. And immediately when he pulls up, she's trying to bombard him with like all of the drama. So he like, hold on, let me go check my booth. I'll be right back. So he comes back with Don after Don tells him they all cramped over there because Drea took over. And Ryan is like, oh, let me go over there because I'm always gonna have Charmaine back. She's an extension of me. Blah 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 blah. So he goes over there to see. They're having a conversation. She's telling them about what's going on. Drea is over there tattooing and doing her thing. She hears them, but she's like, listen, I don't really care about what they're talking about. This is hilarious. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. So Ryan is like, oh, that's a real ballsy move for Drea to pull this or whatever. You can't set the dumpster on fire and then set up shop right next to it. And it's just like, okay, but for one, you are hearing the story from one side, right? Like you don't care to hear Drea's side because Charmaine is your girl, whatever. So I don't really feel like you should be making opinions about what's going on. And then also just like, yes, you're helping Charmaine out now because Charmaine is like, oh, do you have space? So he's taking on two of her artists or whatever. And she's like, oh my God, thank you, Ryan, always saving the day. But it's just like, here again, you look bad. You look bad because Drea took over the bigger side of the booth. So now you have this little bit of space. You don't have a space for all the artists that you have. You brought on a guest artist. Like, who told you to do that? And like, so Prince is like, Ryan made space for him. And Ryan told him he got to pay 50%. So all his profit, he got to pay 50% off the top. And he like, this some BS because I'm the second lead artist at Second City. And then you're going to send me over here. And I'm like, that is some BS because Charmaine also had her artists paying their own way. So I had to pay my own way, pay for space. And I got to pay 50% off my profit. Nah, so he like, I don't even know why I'm saying loyal to her, like as much as everybody else is disloyal to me. And Kitty shows up, so she, is over there with Charmaine. Charmaine got an attitude about it, but she trying to act like she paying them dust, whatever. And Kitty had invited Steven from London, so he shows up, everybody greeting him or whatever from both sides. And Charmaine is like, they've been planning this from the beginning. They were trying to make a fool out of me. And it's like, girl, whatever. You make a fool out of yourself. So Caesar's whack ass walks through, like, he's the head honcho, whatever. Charmaine's like, hey, what's up? Then Ryan walks up and she's like, hey, Ryan, what's up? Like, you ain't just see him, but I rate sis, whatever. So Caesar's like, you don't got more artists than this, right? She's like, well, it's a long story, but here's the short version and talking about how, they had that little space and what happened with uh Kit and Drea and just is like talking like everything is just like very passive aggressive, I think, on both sides, but more on her side because it's just like you trying to it was very middle school, right? So you trying to act like you have like all this support and you're just having a good time and you're just talking to everybody and everybody is, you got all the good people on your side and they did all these different things to me and Kit don't be working and Drea disrespectful and all of these different things. And Drea is like continue to ignore because she's working. Um Kid is like Kitty is like getting upset and she's just like, why are they talking about me? And I just like Caesar over there gossiping like a little girl, like snickling and grinning. I'm just like, this is so corny. Like, do better. And also the thing that annoys me about Charmaine is that fact that she is a pick me. Like, you're not a girl's girl because why are you sitting over here gossiping with a bunch of grown men? Y'all gossiping in a circle like y'all some teenage girls, and you just always are trying to get the approval of men. Like she is like, I'm like honestly, I mentioned previously, like she always wants to be in the boys club. So Kit is like turning up because she keeps getting more and more mad. Caesar like, I would have went over there and kicked the table over, blah blah blah. Shut up. And Ryan was just like, well, they sitting right there. Why have you talked to them? And she's like, no, because I'm trying not to be petty. And it's like, girl, what are you going to say? What are you going to say? Because you are a horrible business owner. You're a horrible leader. You can't do nothing right. You don't even know what you're doing. So you can't even come to them because you don't even have all the facts. You pretty much just winging it. So Charmaine is like, she doing all of that or whatever. She not even that girl to be doing all of that. And neither are you. Neither are you, but you trying to act like you not pressed and it's rolling off your back when you really are mad. But you got the upper hand because you're able to keep yourself leveled. But you was, trying to do tit for tat as well. So, girl, bye. So at this point, Kitty is just becoming inconsolable and she got into it with one of the producers because they was like trying to calm her down, and he's like, if you can't have a conversation with somebody without trying to fight them, then that is a problem. And she's like, because they can't fight me and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, nobody is trying to fight you. But Charmaine trying to stand up to the side with Ryan, trying to act like she just so above this. Like, girl, shut the hell up. Anyway, Ryan's like, oh, I was trying to go to have one convention without any drama. Now it's going to be left up to me to clear this up because whether it's me or an extension of me, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you don't even have to be over there. Go back to the side where Nine Mag is. What Charmaine and her nonsense, what she got going on, don't got nothing to do with you. But you want to be in the mix. So there you have it. I don't know. It all was whack. Cause like Kitty, if you was gonna do something, you should have did it. But like Charmaine is lame, so it is what it is. And I guess actually, I take that back. I think that seeing Caesar there triggered her, and also just like everything that he was talking about. Like he was sitting there talking about her, like she wasn't there. Like she's literally sitting right there. And then Charmaine also did the same thing. She joined in with that instead of just avoiding the conversation. And Kitty feels like, I was there for you. And I thought you were my friend, and this is how you do me. And that's how things work with pick me's. Like, you're never going to win as a woman, they're always going to pick the man's side. I mean, like, Ryan wasn't really engaging in it. He kind of was just looking and he had like a weird smile on his face. But, like, you could have changed the direction of the conversation as well. Um, and I saw that, like, some people were coming at him, like, why didn't you say anything or why didn't you defend her? I was reading it on Urban Bell magazine and he responded and was just like, oh, we aren't friends, wasn't friends none of this season. You're watching. And it's just like, okay. And then I guess like multiple people saying, he's like, I don't have to, I'm not a savior. And I just think that that's interesting, right? So like when Drea talked about at the beginning of this episode how like she doesn't feel protected as a black woman. Like even if you feel like this is not your friend, the right thing to do or the mature thing to do, you could have changed that. That's all. People expect better, especially from you, Ryan. So it is what it is. And I guess we'll see what happens next week because there's supposed to be a sit down. And you guys let me know down in the comments how you felt about this episode, and I will talk to you next time.